The situation inside the Russian army is deteriorating. Russian soldiers at the front are increasingly trying to evade orders that they perceive as mortally dangerous. The British magazine The Economist reports, citing intercepted soldier communications. According to the publication, the fighters are finding ways to stall for time and inventing excuses not to go into battle. At the same time, they avoid open disobedience. Rather, it is a passive form of sabotage. Ukrainian military confirms that poorly trained mobilized troops are most often sent to suicide assaults, and more experienced forces are only involved when the advance is successful. The commander of the artillery unit of the 241st Brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, Vladislav Pinchuk, told the magazine that in the Zaporizhzhya direction, the Russians are experiencing a shortage of personnel and an increasing lack of motivation among those who remain. The situation is aggravated by the widespread use of drones. According to The Economist, any approach to the front line at a distance of less than 2 kilometers is tantamount to a death sentence. Already now, a zone of 15 kilometers on either side of the front line is considered dangerous. In these conditions, Ukrainian fighters go underground. Operations are increasingly carried out from protected bunkers. The publication also notes that in the coming year, both sides will most likely increase the use of medium-range drones, which will expand the risk zone to 60 kilometers or more from the front line. Despite high losses, Russia increased the pace of its advance in the summer. However, by the end of July, the pace of advance had slowed. According to The Economist, from May the 1st to early July, about 31,000 Russian soldiers died at the front, a record number for the entire war. Recall the 247th Airborne Assault Regiment of the Russian Occupation Army, which is stationed in the temporarily occupied part of the Zaporizhzhya region, has seen a large number of desertions. According to Ukrainian partisan movement Atesh, forcibly mobilized Ukrainians from the temporarily occupied Crimea, as well as from the temporarily occupied areas of the Zaporizhzhya and Kherson regions, serve in the 247th Airborne Assault Regiment of the Occupation Army of the Russian Federation. They do not want to fight against their country, against Ukraine. That is why they are fleeing the occupation Russian army. The Atesh movement also reported that servicemen of the Russian Occupation Army often end up on the lists of deserters because their documents disappear after being sent to the hospital. In this case, the officers' occupiers usually immediately talk about unauthorized abandonment of the unit. Doctors of the Russian Occupation Army do not specify where the serviceman is. Atesh called on Ukrainians who were forcibly taken into the Russian Occupation Army to evade service and go over to the other side of the Ukrainian partisans.
On the night of August 6, the Tatsinskaya railway station in the Rostov region of Russia, which is used for transporting fuel and grain, was attacked by drones for the second time in the past 24 hours. Ukrainian kamikaze drones struck the railway station as cargo tanks were parked. As a result, several explosions and fires occurred. There were no reports of casualties. According to reports, the incident caused delays in the movement of trains. An oil depot in the Bryansk region of Russia was also attacked by Ukrainian drones. Local residents said that the attack began around 5 a.m. and that multiple explosions occurred at 10 a.m. A fire is said to have broken out in the area where the drones fell. As reported, Ukrainian drones targeted the Tatsinskaya railway station in Russia's Rostov Oblast overnight on August 5. The railway station acts as a logistics hub for nearby oil infrastructure and is used to transport grain. At least 10 explosions occurred throughout Rostov Oblast as air defenses responded to the drone attack, local media reported. In the town of Milarovo, power outages reportedly occurred. Mobile networks partially shut down in the region, the electric utility company Dunenergo said. Rostov Oblast acting governor Yuri Slyuser in the morning of August 5 reported that Russia's military repelled a massive air attack in the Bely Kalitva, Tatsinsky, Chertkovsky, and Milarovsky districts of the oblast. At a farmstead in Verkhnetalovka, Milarovsky district, a substation caught fire, with the blaze later extinguished, he said. Another fire broke out and was quickly put out near the Tatsinskaya railway station, with a canopy in a home's yard burning, Slyuser said. Tatsinskaya is located about 100 kilometers from Ukraine's border with Russia and approximately 305 kilometers from Ukrainian-held territory near Pokrovsk in Donetsk Oblast. Ukraine regularly strikes military infrastructure deep within Russia in an effort to diminish Moscow's fighting power, as it continues to wage its war. A massive Ukrainian drone attack targeted the Archita railway station in Russia's Volgograd Oblast on August 4. In the early hours of July 29, strike drones targeted a fuel train at a major railway junction in the city of Salsk, Rostov region. Later, Russian railways announced that train traffic through the Salsk railway station had been suspended. They added that a freight train caught fire following the drone strike. According to Astra, passengers of the Novokuznetsk-Kislovodsk train, which was at the Salsk station at the time of the drone attack, have since returned to their train. It appears that the drones striking the Salsk station were targeting a train carrying military equipment and fuel and lubricants, according to the Ukrainian Korn Group military unit. The target of the drone strike was a military train of the Russian occupation forces moving toward the Ukrainian border, the Ukrainian Militarny media outlet suggested.